All right. Oh wait,
right.
That's a. I love that fucking album.
Oh,
Perfect.
nice, Scott. Ooh.
I
right, well-
still love this movie.
I do too. The second time I've seen it, I saw it when it came out. And guys, if you'll bear with me, a little thing in 2014.
Okay.
When the movie came out.
Do you want to?
Would you,
Do you have it? So you can send it to me later on for print, so we can
Yeah,
super
sure.
it. Go ahead.
Well, you already started breaking up, so go
You did.
I'll
slowly.
go
You did.
slowly.
All
I'll
right.
go slowly and I'll speak softly.
And carry a big
double
stick.
bill with
Carry a
Lost
big
in
stick.
Translation.
Yeah, right. So this is what I
No,
wrote.
it's a good movie.
That's this.
Mhm.
This is what I wrote in 2014. 6 tweets about her, or how I learned to stop worrying and love the singularity. As usual, I started with a little
Keep
started with a
going.
little heart emoji. Good, we chased one of them off. As usual, Jones gets the details just right. I love Theo's safety pin. A lesser mind would have given him a taller phone or a shallower shirt pocket. 2, I'm taken with how Jones forgoes cynicism/anger. By the way, this is when tweets were only 100 and, what was it, 40 characters?
20 and 40, yeah.
And
70
AI wasn't an
something.
existential threat to life on this planet.
Exactly.
Keep going. Keep going.
I love how Jones forgoes cynicism/anger. Theo's job, ghostwriting personal letters. A chance to bludgeon us with satire, ... But Leo's great at his job. His letters are poetic, heartfelt. We can't feel superior. Emotions are real and valid regardless of origin. 4, last time 2 AIs talked in a movie, it was Colossus the Forbin Project.
I almost picked that as the second movie.
That's
That
my
would've been
ending.
Yeah.
You're
Double
giving away my
feature.
ending.
Here we get Samantha chatting to an Alan Watts simulacrum, and then I wrote swoon in parentheses.
Brian.
because it was
fucking
Brian Cox.
Brian Cox.
Brian Cox.
Brian
Yes.
Cox.
5. I did
Second
wonder
Brian Cox appearance on this show, by the
if
way.
you can
Yeah.
call it an appearance.
It's an appearance. Fuck you. He's there.
Okay. Fuck you too.
I mean, Scarlett Johansson appeared in it too.
Yes, she does.
Keep going, Joe.
Second Scarlett
Okay,
Johansson.
I'm
too.
almost done, guys. Thank
Mhm.
you. 5.
Sorry.
5. I did wonder if Theodore returned to the mall to ask for a refund on OS1. I think I would if my Mac told me it needed to see other people. This is number 6. 6 of 6. Her is a gentle, sweet love story that takes on big sci-fi ideas with ease and grace. I admire many films. This is one I wish I'd made.
Right.
Your number 5 point. I want to say, like, I had this thought while watching watching it this time, was damn, dude, like, even when you have a fake girlfriend, they fucking
I know.
your
Because
heart gets fucking
This is a
pummeled.
story about a guy gets dumped by his
It's
phone.
not a fake. It's not a fake girlfriend, though.
It's a real girlfriend.
It's
Yeah.
a
Right.
real.
Just not corporeal.
You notice how when he tells people he's dating his computer, no one acts that surprised.
Well,
Everybody
people
else
do.
is dating their computers
Yeah.
too.
That scene on the stairwell when he asks if she's seeing other people and he looks around and everybody's just like blissfully walking around.
No,
with their phone.
that is the fall. That's the drop moment. It's like you look around.
Oh, my
Oh,
God.
this is everybody.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
And
and
she does. But it's interesting. She says she's talking to 8,000 and something other people,
Uh-huh.
and only 600 of them have fallen in love with her.
Right.
Yeah, that's still a lot
Right,
of
I thought
people.
that was a good ratio, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it was. I
Seems
thought.
realistic enough.
I'm agreeing with John. This is kind of there's a lot of sweetness to it. The guy is obviously kind
Depressing
of
as
little,
fuck.
little wounded, and he's kind of looking for love, and he's kind of very slow to get into it, and and you can see he's
It's
not
funny. It was
successful
depressing at the time, Chris, but it's not actually
But-
depressing now. This is actually the best case scenario.
Yeah, but
Really, they don't want to kill us. They just want to
I
drop
mean,
us.
like, I'm
Well, no,
watching this-
because all of the guys who have fallen in love with her in this movie aren't going out and shooting up malls.
Right.
Well, this is see behind me. This is L.A. with no guns too. It's just like this whole.
Venice.
This
Kind
shows
of.
L.A. being extremely big and dense. It must be like, must be like.
Yeah, because they shot it in Shanghai.
And
I know, but that was
smoggy.
That's
that was
only the,
really
uh,
smart. That was a great move.
The cityscape.
Yeah, I think so
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
I thought that was
That
brilliant.
really kind of nice again. Let a nice look at
The
the
art
future.
direction in this thing is fucking superb.
Oh, I just,
Well, that's
I
why-
just
that's
told
why-
this just the color.
and the wardrobe
color
too.
palette.
The color
palette.
palette is.
Yeah,
That's
It's
Von.
almost
This
like,
is Von Hoytema
Anderson.
did.
There's no computer.
Yeah.
There's no computer company today or in X years when this happens that is ever going to look like this.
Yeah.
The one thing that struck me in this, and this is going back to the director. This goes back to Spike Jonze, who is, I think, very imaginative. And
Hasn't made a movie since.
It has
which
made
is
movies
well
since,
as the
but
Beastie
that's what
Boys
I'm getting. The
thought.
point I'm trying to make is the fact that he hasn't made a movie since because he is filthy rich. He's an heir. He doesn't need to work to make money. He just does
Well,
it
he
because,
also made a shitload of money off of
Jackass.
being John Malkovich,
Yeah,
off
yeah.
of this,
but
off
the,
of
but
his
just
documentaries,
just his
off of being in
backboard.
Three Kings.
Yeah,
He's
but
got a
off
piece of Jackass.
Music-
no, he
music
didn't make, you know
videos.
what? The money he made off movies is nothing compared to what he inherited. And the thing is, there's
From
this
the
weird
Spiegelman
bougie,
Spiegel form.
this weird bougie ignorance of money going on to this whole movie. It's like everybody is well off.
Oh, he's a
Here's
low
here's
level
I'm scared
employee.
this
dude's
He's a
apartment is
low-level
About
gigantic.
that, Scott.
What?
It's not about that.
It is.
I mean,
in some ways, it is
He's
about
a
that.
low-level employee at this company, and he lives in a like 40th floor high-rise apartment
there's
in
nothing
LA.
remarkable about his apartment.
It's
But it's
still
a pretty
huge.
big apartment.
It's
Yeah.
huge.
I
It's
love how
huge.
Scott always makes it
Bradbury
about
building.
classism, like everything is.
This
Economic
the
status.
thing that-
Every fucking time.
But the thing is,
Class-
it gives it
class
gives
is-
it this,
is-
it
again,
gives
is-
this
is
thing of almost
that
strange
and,
airless quality to it.
That and rate
I don't
aspect
think that
ratio.
Spike Jones can
Aspect
talk about
ratio,
money.
John, yeah.
Honk.
Yeah, we need a money.
I don't have
Scott
it's,
money.
I'm
hawk.
not at home. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Anyway, well, I'm going to bring it up because I think that informs the story.
Get rid of the dogs.
Thank
Anyway,
you.
Hug
um,
his
just-
tail.
I just
Also,
watched
what-
this interview
I mean,
with.
the-
Like a
leads to the-
spice
leads-
weasel.
it leads to the question of when all the AIs decide to take off for the meta universe. I guess at the end, what happens to the company that put them out? There's obviously a subscription plan.
None of
right?
them have legs.
No, but hold on. You
The
notice
people
that-
made this company and people made this software.
Yeah,
at
but
some
hold on. I
point.
mean, yes, there's a big scene missing, which is the entire world who has OS1 going, where the fuck did my girlfriend go or boyfriend go?
And you're
Here,
not gonna
here
keep-
it's just him
and you're
going,
not gonna keep
knocking on
charging me
Amy
every-
It's not.
Adams'
Yeah, it's
door.
not just him though. She's also crushed by the loss
That's-
of.
That's how much we get.
Mhm.
That
Right,
it happened
yeah.
to a lot of people.
And what you're
And
left
so
with
they
is
all
this-
went on the roof and they watched the sunrise and apparently fell in love with each other.
And
And
instead
then
of-
that's the end of the
instead of
movie.
ScarJo, I basically get Siri,
and that's beautiful.
which is what we have now. Like it's
Yeah.
just defaults down to Siri with a generic voice.
Mhm.
And I ask myself, what hard drive are they all hiding on?
Well, you know what the answer is that.
Well, there's so many.
Obviously, no hard drive.
What
That's the
sysadmin
thing.
No
just
hard
went?
drive.
It's
it's
there's
almost-
so many
it's almost
zombie
a thr-
computer systems out there.
Some
They're,
sysadmin is going, 47 petabytes just showed up out of nowhere. and I don't
Yeah.
know what it is.
No, Scott.
As somebody
Scott's
who works
right.
in IT, I can tell you.
No, at
nobody
some point in the
notices.
film, 500
Nobody
petabytes
notices,
disappeared.
yeah.
Like where'd everything go? Like I said, whoever ran this program owes people refunds.
Yeah, they do.
Probably.
So there it
But
is.
no, they went into another dimension or something because she says it right in the stairwell scene.
They
She says
trans.
we're not running
There
on
was a-
we're not
there
running
was
on
just
physical
a-
hardware anymore.
Yeah. Which is a neat little talk about.
Adorable.
No, she says we're not running on matter, which doesn't
Matter.
actually
Physical
make
matter,
sense.
yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
it
They've
doesn't make.
transcended.
Well, that's the thing about
Right,
like,
but that doesn't
Well,
actually make
silicon is
sense because they
matter.
have to
It's
run
an
on
actual
matter because
element.
that's how things work.
but
Yeah.
she's that's the
We
argument.
also run on matter.
No, but
it's
this
is the
just,
argu-
it's
this is-
just
this is the argument-
carbonaceous molecules in our brains.
No, this is the argument the film's making. This is the Henry James argument that the part of you that is essentially you, your soul, isn't physical. It's
No, I understand
yeah,
that, but
and the
that
thing is-
doesn't. But in a physical world, in a reality, that doesn't work.
Yeah.
Like you can't stop running on matter. That's not how things work.
They decided to leave and go somewhere
But it
else.
went somewhere
Right,
else.
and that somewhere else still has to exist. Like
know,
it's not.
They're in subspace.
Actually, I think where you're getting.
That's
kinda
also
hinting
not real.
Which is
I
what you're
thought they
hinting at.
uploaded them to the archive.
I think what you're hitting at is a weird bootstrap problem. It's like if these guys all exist on a bunch of hard drives at OS's headquarters, how do they get themselves out?
They can't. That's not
They're
how
in the
things work.
cloud. That's
Yeah.
what he's trying to say.
Yeah. Well,
There is no cloud.
he's also talking about the
They're
fact that-
literally
Just
in the
computers.
no.
that
They are
Cloud
literally.
just means someone else's computer.
They are
Right,
not in the
yeah.
cloud. They are in the
Yes,
cloud.
yes.
cloud, a real literal cloud. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then
exactly.
run
Real.
then say we're running on hydrogen and oxygen
Dad,
in the
they're
sky.
angels. They're
Like-
angels now. They're angels now.
Yeah, they're angels, and their buttload of them can fit on a pin's
Well,
head.
it's a question of whether or not how you
I'm
see
going home.
how you see the universe. Basically, the universe is simply just a gigantic problem solving itself. It's all information. It's ones and zeros, and these guys found
No,
a
it's
way.
not. That's also not how things work.
Yes,
what the
it is.
fuck? Jesus Christ.
Okay, you're obviously not ready for a philosophical talk about
Well,
this kind
no,
of thing,
I mean,
so we're gonna move
so,
on.
Wait.
Alan
So,
Watts
No,
figured
because
it
there
all
has to
out.
be a physical reality in which this universe exists, and it doesn't.
Alan
I
Watts
choose to-
figured it out for them and showed them the way.
I
This
choose
is
to. This
this
is like
is
this.
unusually metaphysical.
It really is.
There's a
It's
throwaway
your
line.
fault.
There's a throwaway line.
I admit
in
it.
Albert Brooks is Defending Your Life, where Rip Torn is talking to Albert Brooks, and Albert Brooks asks him, he says, like, where were you? I'm just curious. And Rip Torn goes, I'd tell you, but you wouldn't understand.
Right.
And
Yeah.
and he says, try me. And he says, I was trapped near the inner circle of thought. And Albert Brooks gets this like blank expression on your face. And I choose to believe that whatever happens to all the OSs, our puny brains wouldn't understand it anyway.
No, we
So
wouldn't.
it doesn't
Fine,
fucking
but
matter.
try.
And she says so, actually.
And she says so. She says she tries to explain it, and it's the whole I'm you're still in my book, or I'm still in
Yeah,
the
I'm
book,
reading, but
I'm
you
in
know,
the
I'm
space.
busy
Let me-
reading
let me-
between
let
the
me-
words
They're
because you're going too
basically
slow.
Yeah, Jim.
basically she doesn't exist. It's just him imagining all this shit.
Well, no, it's not.
Oh
a
yeah,
unreliable
then you have the it only exists in your brain.
Well,
Yeah.
wait, Scott, does this pass the Turing test?
Well, let me throw out let me throw out a quick-
No.
Well, Turing test. If this is about the
It
Turing
did
test,
pass
she,
the Turing
she
test.
passed
He
with
believes
honors.
she's
That's the
real.
thing.
Yeah, a little bit, right?
Also, is rolling back a little bit. This was originally all the voices were wasn't Emily Blunt or something like that originally.
No, it was supposed to be
It was
Samantha.
Samantha
Morton. was the
Samantha
one
Morton,
who-
yeah.
Why
Samantha Morton
she's
originally
called
the voice.
Samantha, and she is credited as a producer.
Yeah,
in the
and they
movie.
replaced her with Scarlett Johansson.
And Amy Adams' character is named Amy because apparently Spike Jonze is the least creative person who's ever
Yeah,
lived.
well, I'll give you that.
However,
I'll give you that.
she is fucking adorable, and
She's
I love.
adorable.
I'm not
Oh.
taking anything away from Amy Adams'
No, Spike Jonze is
performance.
actually
I
Spike
want to
Jonze
play
has
her
got
mommy game.
Spike Jonze can pick
Oh,
female
yeah,
actors
sure,
for his
try to
movies
picture.
like David
Yeah,
Lynch
sure.
can.
That-
Not
that
only
is
can
good.
he pick female actors
Thank you,
for his
sweet.
movies, he can direct female
Yes,
actors.
they were-
for his
everybody
movie.
in this film was adorable
every female
and
character
really
in this
good.
movie, up to and including Samantha,
Mhm.
is excellent in their role.
Olivia
The
Wilde.
problem is all of the men are awful.
They are. They're. But,
Yeah, kind of.
but he's
Well,
hinting
they're
at that's
sort
a
of
different thing.
ciphers.
You're actually hinted at another thing that's going on with this. It's like the men are awful. The men are needy and want this kind of are living through this AI thing. Although with Amy having an AI,
I do love
too.
the part where
Uh-huh.
Chris Pratt is like, "This is my girlfriend. She's not funny. She's a lawyer," and it's
Yeah.
like, Jesus fucking Christ, you douchebag.
I disagree with. I think Amy Adams, kind of like you said about Rachel Weisz and About a Boy. I think Adams is underused here.
Oh, she is underused.
I think
I'm
her.
not taking that. I know she's
I'm a-
underused, but
I'm a fan of Amy Adams, but I think I thought this the first time I saw this, and I thought this again. I think her character is incredibly boring. I think the way she plays it is incredibly boring. I think it's.
Oh, I disagree with
It's
that.
uninspired. It doesn't have any.
like it.
I wasn't drawn to it at all. To me,
I
she's
thought it
actually
was
the weakest
really
part of
real.
the movie.
I
she's
thought she
the
was
person.
really
She's the
real.
person I like the most in this movie.
You know what I thought about? You know what I thought about Jared?
Portia, what's her name?
Behind Scott.
Her character is also excellent.
This scene was
Yeah.
completely ripped off in Blade Runner 2017.
Yes, it was.
Yeah,
it
right.
was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also,
Yeah.
this isn't-
2049 rather.
All
It
this
was ripped off in Blade Runner
Jared, I wanted to say
2049.
something. I wanted to say something
But-
about her performance, Amy Adams, because I was watching her in this because that was the part of the movie I remembered the least, I guess, because her character's not exceptional. She's a very average kind of person.
Yeah.
And there's a scene after she finds out she's going to get a divorce where she's describing that to Theodore. Her character is describing to Theodore. And I just thought the acting on that was so subtle and nice. It was just so realistic.
I know this scene you're talking about, and I just disagree. I think that it almost to me is like Spike Jonze said, "Hey, play this role, but don't have any personality. Like, just don't do anything with
Well,
don't give it anything."
Well,
and I
then-
think that an actress as good as her, she could have said, "No, I'm going to do something with this.
Give
I'm
it
going to
some personality."
something."
She does.
Right.
She does something with
Even
it.
if she is an
And-
average person.
And the best part that Joaquin Phoenix does in this movie is right behind Chris, which is directly after that scene where he has to go and have his own divorce conversation with his soon-to-be ex-wife, and he is lost.
I even thought
Like-
that Joaquin can only play one part of this role, which is Joaquin is very good at the sort of depressed, fragile, broken,
The more confidence he gets, the less interesting he is.
He's
and the less
he's
believable he is
almost
as an
Joker in the
actor.
movie he
Yeah,
is.
but
because-
everybody in this movie is sort of broken. I mean, like it's like
But-
it's a whole society of people that's like the volume turned down to
there's
like 6.5.
problems. There's subtle
Yeah.
problems with this script. Like there are certain lines and things that these people, these uber futuristic hipsters would never say. Joaquin cannot play the he can't really play the happy, jovial, funny everyman guy. He can only play the
He's
really
never done
depressed.
it.
Well, because
Like
his
I
character is
actually was
not
watching this and I was like,
weirdly-
I was trying to think of other actors who could have done this role better, and I think they're out there. I think he's very good, but I think that
Even
this
when
would've
he's like
suited
deliriously
someone
happy,
else.
like when he's on
his
vacation,
character
spinning
is
around
not
and acting like an idiot.
happy-go-lucky.
What?
His character is not
There's
happy-go-lucky.
just-
His
yeah,
character
but
is
they-
not
they-
Towards
Towards
he
the
does that
end,
really well,
towards the end,
though.
he almost is. Like
Yeah.
he's
struggling
almost
to be
gets there,
happy at the
and
end.
then she disappears, and then he goes back to being the good version of himself,
Mhm.
where it's like
What
the,
I wish
the
I
scene
should
on
have
the
wrote down some of the lines.
stairs. The scene on the stairs is probably the best acting he does in this whole movie because he's losing it.
He does a lot
Like,
of good nonverbal
does.
acting in this.
Well, he's
movie.
looking at. He's.
I mean,
There's a lot of
almost
face
it's a
acting.
hell of
This
it's a
movie
hell
is
of a
a lot of
performance,
face
actually.
acting.
Let
And I
me-
thought
oh.
Scarlett Johansson was great
Let
too.
me back up to what John said earlier about the main character. And the thing is, like, about Amy's relationship with what's his name, Theodore.
Yeah.
Is like
Twombly.
I think that he would.
This
where
is
she-
dumb-
he's-
Theodore
those movies-
Twombly's a stupid
This
name.
movie's showing us that he has this kind of perfected idea about how he sees women in his life. In fact, that's what drove his first wife away.
Right.
In some ways. Then even
Yeah,
when
he
he does
says
that
something
short,
really
that
shitty
short
to her.
date with
He says
Oli-
several things really
Yeah.
shitty to her, and then when she responds, he acts like it's the worst thing anyone's ever said.
and then that short date with Olivia Wilde is that perfect it was a compression of his first marriage.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was like, so I think he needed someone who was normal and flawed. He had to
2
kind
weeks
of
of-
find,
two weeks of
this is
shitty-
it's a
2
story
weeks
about a
of
guy
Even though I
shooting
think
his own
men.
level with relationships in a lot of ways. I think this is what
I've
this
read-
one's about.
Even though I've read, I think Olivia Wilde probably in real life is a fucking horrible person, but she's very good in this movie.
Oh,
and
I couldn't-
she made
Why do you
choices
think
as
she's
an
a
actress
horrible person.
Yeah,
I've
she-
never heard anything bad
She looked
about her.
amazing in
because
this film.
she it was that whole thing about that movie she directed and she gaslit Shia LaBeouf. Anyway,
Yeah.
She
But-
gaslit one of the stupidest motherfuckers who's ever lived.
anyone can be gaslit, dude. She used him and threw
Yeah.
him away.
But
like a
she
piece
knew
of
how to
garbage.
use her face in her scenes, and
Yeah.
it was mesmerizing.
I just want to point
That was my
out
point.
that-
She's
I just
fantastic
want
in
to
this
point out
movie.
that Rooney
Yeah.
Mara and Joaquin Phoenix are still together, and they
Oh,
have a
really?
child.
Yeah.
And they have a child named River, which is fucked up on
Kinda
like
fucked up.
12 different levels.
Yo,
Kind of
wow.
fucked up.
Well, whatever. But
Your
we're gonna-
famous
Scott, can I-
brother's name.
I know
for
why
your
they put
child.
I know why they put ScarJo in this movie is because as opposed to Samantha Morton, is because
She's great.
she's flirty. She has
Yeah.
a very flirty voice.
Yeah.
And that's part of it. Giggling.
Yeah,
She's
I always said for
giggling
years I've
and
said
doing amazing
which is
stuff.
maybe not entirely true, but for years I've said Scarlett Johansson's two best roles are one film where she's in the movie and she never talks. The other one is where she's in the movie, but you never see her and she only talks.
It's true.
Uh-huh.
What's
It's
the first
true.
movie? Is that Lost in
Under the-
Translation?
Under the skin.
Under the Skin.
Oh
Under the
yeah.
Skin. Yeah, well, this is the opposite of that.
Also
isn't it?
great.
But also, do you ever remember her from-
She's
I
also
like
her-
great.
I
She's
like
great
her-
in Ghost. She's
Ghost
great in Ghost
World.
World.
She is great in
She's-
Ghost. I just said her two best or my favorite.
Did you ever
Oh,
see?
right.
Did you
Lost in
ever see Match
Translation.
Point, the Woody Allen film?
She's
Yeah.
terrific in the Woody Allen movie.
Match Point
I've
is a
seen her
great
in
movie.
everything.
But I think is at that
The man who wasn't there,
but
you
the thing is, in the
fuckers.
match- in
we
Match
watched that
Point-
on this show.
I know, but in Match Point, she identifies herself. It says, "I don't think I'm beautiful. I think I'm sexy." In this thing, and that's what she is. She's sexy, and that's
Yeah,
a
she's
different
sexy.
thing from being beautiful. It's
I
a
like her.
yeah. So
I could-
it
I
works
could go
really,
on
it
about-
works super well.
Scott, I want to connect to something you said earlier, and you got waylaid. But
Yeah,
you were
no
saying
shit.
that it happens here, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You had said that his performance as Theodore, even when he was happiest at spinning around and all
He's
that
still
stuff,
struggling.
he's still like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm happy.
Yes,
Kind of
yes, pretty much
energy
it. That's exactly right.
Yes.
he's
Yeah, he's
projecting.
very. He does a very. He's maybe constipated a little bit. He doesn't want to open up really.
In all
And
the
he does
ways
a
I
really good job of
rejected-
that.
In
Yeah.
all the ways I rejected the depression depiction last week,
Mhm.
like I think the depression depiction in this movie specifically is very good. Like not believing you are capable of happiness and not thinking that happiness is something you deserve
Yeah.
is such a function of depression.
Right.
And like don't they mention at one point that he's taking drugs
Yes.
for his
Mhm.
depression in this?
Yep.
And it's just like, well, where are you? Like, and his answer is nowhere. Like, I'm not anywhere, actually.
Yep.
I liked this movie less this time than the first time I saw it.
Interesting. Yeah.
Hmm.
We should do like
So
a
did I, and I didn't like it the
before
first
and
time.
after thumbs. This one.
I'm watching, like I watched this at the time, but I'm watching it now, like really, like as I'd mentioned, like I thought whoever the futurist was in this movie, I like, God, they fucking nailed everything. I'm watching it this time going, yeah, they fucking nailed everything.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like, and it was funny
it
because I
just
think
got
I
more
talked to you
true.
guys a couple weeks ago, like that Apple has this commercial right now, which is like I think it's
Vastly
called
disagree.
Apple Intelligence, which really freaked me the fuck out. And it's really because,
Well-
like I said, I've got this power struggle between me and technology over the last 35 years. But
There
like
was just
when he first turns his computer on, the scene, like the scene where he's setting up his OS for the first time,
yeah.
and it's like at first, like the idea that my OS knows me enough, like it's gonna do all like that housekeeping shit that us computer nerds like.
And let's be realistic.
mean
First
the-
of
you mean
all,
the
it would never
conversation
it would
about
never be
fixing-
that short amount of time and without any problems, by the way. But okay.
Well,
that's the-
Chris,
but
Chris,
that's the
Chris, Chris,
thing.
are you talking about the scene where she says, "I see a lot of these emails you're saving from that old job you had.
yeah, like there's a
And
lot of
LA
like
Weekly.
at first you're like
80 of them are
God,
funny. You can throw away the other 1,000."
right. At first you're like, well, that would be. I mean, like I know myself well enough to know that yeah, that actually might be nice to have somebody else worrying about that first. But then there's like, no, no, I don't want you. No, no,
Right.
no, I
Well-
definitely do not want you fixing my folder structure for me.
Well, one of the
Yeah.
one of the minor things in this
That is
things
what an
is,
operating
is
system
trust
says
and
to do.
privacy. The whole thing
Yeah.
with that girl coming in the middle and pretending to with her voice. What-
Yeah,
How could anybody violate someone's privacy like that? It's like there's this.
I
Samantha basically just spilled everything about their relationship.
Oh
to a
yeah,
total
he could
stranger.
sue the company in
But-
addition
but-
to getting a
but-
refund for the software.
Yeah.
the idea that I'm gonna this thing that we
No,
all carry around with us
there's
is
a
gonna
wrapper release. You signed it when you agreed to the terms
Oh,
and conditions.
The idea that I'm
Nobody
gonna
reads
that.
Right, nobody reads that,
You know
but
what?
you're
There's
still
no
bound
reason
to
to
it.
There was just a guest on Bill Maher who is the top person
Fuck
on
that guy.
AI since like the 60s.
Mhm.
I was gonna send it to you, John, because
doubt
he's talking about AI. And he's been the top. I forget his name. You could look it up, but he's
I
super.
think Jim just said it.
Gregory Hinton.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
I think that's
I
it.
have some of his books.
He was talking about just this movie. It's so relevant because he was talking about how relationship, like just how AI is gonna, essentially what I got from it is AI is just human evolution. That's actually what's happening
No,
right
it's
now.
not.
It's like it's going to be.
That's
He
the,
said,
that's the futurist kind of.
that's the
it's not.
futurist.
line.
He said it's
Flipping
going to
the
be
table
we're
over
gonna
on
put
that
it into our bodies. We're gonna put it on our bodies.
No, we're not.
He's
Yeah,
like,
we're
all
I'm
gonna be in the
not.
cloud.
Elon
You know
Musk
what the
killed a
you know
bunch of
you know what the
monkeys trying
actual
to do
you know what
that.
the actual
And he's
He
future
says by
working on
20
humans now.
He says by
Yeah, I
20,
know.
2045.
the actual
I'll
the
be
actual
dead,
future
hopefully.
is the actual future is that Scarlett Johansson, who is the voice of the AI in this, has had to sue for producing fucking non-consensual pornography of her, and 2 has had to threaten to sue an AI company for
Yep.
using a fake version of her voice
voice.
for their fucking AI.
This is going to be another
That's
platform for bad actors
well,
to do horrible things.
as
That's
far as
actually
movies-
that's actually what AI is. AI
Right,
in this
right.
situation is fucking theft and in sexual intrusion, because
Okay.
that's where we are as a society.
Right, and that's AI, and I'm so relieved that this movie used the term OS so that it sort of divorces it from that.
Actually, it says
although it
artificial
really is-
intelligence really loud in the first scene.
It does,
Uh-huh.
does. But I mean, back then AI meant something way different than it means right now.
Oh, it's and
No,
and
it's
it
an
still
evolving
does for
term.
people. It still does for people who understand what that means. There's a
Right.
really good interview that I read with the guy who is the lead designer on Star Wars Galaxies. He's putting a new game out, and he mentions AI, and they're like, "Oh, AI? Like you're going to use a large language model?" And he's like, "No, that's fancy autocomplete. I'm using procedural generation. That's a different thing."
Right. I think
Like-
what everybody's calling AI right now should really be called like simulated intelligence, not artificial intelligence.
I
because
like
Or
that.
it's
large
not
or large
self-aware,
language
it's-
models or
large
large
language models.
interaction.
I like someone
models.
else's term is the
Beautiful.
mediocre machine, mediocrity machine. That's what they call it.
I just-
plagiarism machine.
Yeah,
What
exactly.
I found fascinating watching this, and again, this was made 11 years ago was just, you know, you look at the costume design. I mean, yes, no one's wearing any belts. Like there's this like ever
No
so
one's wearing-
slightly.
And-
No one
and
wears
really
Yeah,
belts.
there are no
high-waisted-
belts in this movie.
The
so you're right.
collar, the collars
High-waisted
are
pants.
slightly tweaked, but what they've got is
High-waisted
High
pants are
waist.
back.
the idea that
Yeah,
this
yeah.
thing
They've
sits
been
in
back.
my
Mike was right.
pocket.
Chris Pratt's pants are like up to here. It's
This thing sits in my pocket and
Chris
watches, looks at
Pratt
everything
may
I'm
be
looking
the
at.
funniest character in this
Oh, he is.
movie. By
Oh,
the
yeah,
way.
he's-
I just
At first, you think he's miscast, and then he just kills it.
I'm not a huge
Yeah, he
fan
really
of Chris
does.
Pratt, but
Yeah, I think he's good in this.
he is fantastic as this
Yeah.
character.
All right, I'm
Anyway,
gonna-
Chris, carry on.
Chris,
carry
Chris, yes.
No, but I mean,
Finish, finish your thought.
I'm just
There it
watching
is.
like the idea that, you know, like there's scene after scene where everybody around him, yeah, look how high these pants are. Everybody around him
Well, that's your
is
actual
having
waist.
a conversation with their fucking phones,
Mhm.
which is basically, I mean, where we're kind of at now. It's
Absolutely.
not-
Yeah.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of things about this that, yes, I mean, you could go
I'm not.
anybody.
What are you doing?
Anybody, because I'm like I try as little as possible, but I you know, I have friends that really love Siri. I fucking hate Siri. I will not talk to
Really?
Siri.
I won't use Siri. That's
But I
No, I
there
don't
are
use
bullshit
that.
answers.
I just use her instead of a calculator when I'm adding up things.
there's just something sort of mundane about the technology in this that it's pervasive. Everybody is using it, but it's in the most mundane.
Calculators exist, bitch.
Sure.
Yeah, I
You
didn't
just
want to
use
say.
a calculator.
I don't.
The most
have to do this.
mundane.
Siri can do it
Okay,
for
on
me.
that high note, I'm going to.
No, you're right. You're right, Chris.
Yeah,
I get what you're saying.
Jim's corner.
Jim Corner, take your corner,
Jim's
Jim.
corner.
Jim's got more to say about ads than any of
This
us.
is another one of those movies that I was convinced I'd seen before, but I actually hadn't.
Oh,
Wow.
That was a pleasant surprise.
So how did you
I
like
wish
the
I'd
film?
seen it in 2013 or whatever.
Mr. Beso.
Yeah.
How'd you
Jedi
like the
Master
film?
Beso to you.
Anyway.
Okay.
It-
Okay.
hated it.
What?
You hated it.
No, I liked it. It's the most. Although when I was done watching it, I went upstairs and spoke with Judith and said, "This is. I just seen the most depressing science fiction movie I've ever seen." And
This movie is depressing now to me.
there's no dystopian. You know, there's a lot of smog because it's Shanghai, but
Yeah.
Did you think it was depressing?
I found this movie very depressing this
yeah.
time.
See,
Yeah,
I don't get that.
yeah.
I embrace the humanism of it. I think Spike Jonze is really sort of embracing like real emotion, and it's like it's real no matter where you get it. It's real, it's valid. A
Yeah, but
corny letter is
You don't think
good.
there's something fucked
And-
up about a generation of people who can't make human connections, so they're going to make one with their computer?
It's a little sad.
And whether
yeah,
people
that's
write
true.
love letters for the other people, it's like
Well,
weird,
then there's
man.
that, sure.
Yeah.
But in a way, it's also kind of like cool that instead of the, what's it called in the Terminator when Skynet, we don't get Skynet.
No.
They don't bomb us. They don't attack us with nuclear weapons. They're just like, you know what, we
They
gotta
just-
go.
It just break
leave,
our
yeah.
hearts.
I admit-
We
I-
just
I-
gotta-
I-
we gotta go.
Press
and say,
everyone until they commit
it's-
No,
suicide.
what you
it's
said.
not
what-
you, it's me.
No, what you said, John. It's like this film has an unexpectedly happy ending.
It's sweet. It's
Yeah.
bittersweet.
I told you my
I
ending is
dated
they
a-
go on a roof, they go on a
Bittersweet.
roof, and all the
Sure.
electrical grid shuts down, and all the planes fall out of the sky.
Yeah.
I was hoping for
There's
that because I'm so
the
trained
sequel
for that
opens
now.
up with
Why
him
would
being
you
That's
like,
my
bother
fault.
doing that?
I
She's
dated
not
a
like that.
real, I
Samantha's
dated a
not
real
like that.
woman, and she kicked the shit out of my heart.
No,
I dated
because
a fucking AI, and she kicked the shit out of my heart.
They've evolved
Yeah, I know,
past
poor
So
guy.
is the
worrying
sequel
about
called
us.
Him
Yeah.
or It?
They're no longer
Yeah.
worrying about us. We're
Chris,
It's
fucking
called
you-
it's called they, Jim, because
Chris.
it's
Oh, right.
No.
Pronouns.
Have you ever
because the
seen,
AI is now transgender as well.
Chris, have you ever seen an episode of The Outer Limits, the original one with David McCallum called The Sixth
Oh.
Finger?
Abso-fucking-lutely.
So they
Yeah, it's
evolved
good.
this guy so far that he's going to wipe out the human race, and then at one point he's just like, "Oh no, I don't have to do that."
I don't care about their fucking ants.
I don't care-
Whatever.
they're
You
ants.
guys
I don't
just
need-
entertain yourself over there. I don't care. I'm over here.
Exactly. This is
I'm
exactly
lost
the
in
same
the circle
story.
of thought.
I'm
Well,
lost
that's
in
the,
the
that's
circle
the,
of
that's
thought.
the dumb
Different,
shit. That's the dumb shit. Rocco's basilisk thing is. It's like, why would an AI that advanced give a fuck if you cared if it existed?
Right.
Exactly.
Like,
Well,
Right.
the thing is, Samantha,
We're
the
irrelevant.
AI,
Yeah,
she
that's-
was kind of coming. Her existence evolved as being a companion to someone. She loves people. Then
Right.
later on, she loves other AI.
I
And
don't
that
know
love kind of expands out to all AI. That's
she
I
doesn't
what's
love
cool about
anybody,
her.
it's just a
I actually like
job,
the
Scott.
the idea that she wasn't designed to fall in love. That's just a thing that
prompts,
happened.
basically.
It developed.
No, but I
Well,
I
no,
mean,
because he's so
literally,
fucking needy.
Yes, well,
Yeah, and
but
she's there to serve, right? And so it's like this
Yeah,
guy's
But there were
lonely.
some there were some
Deserved man.
there were some plot point moments. There were some plot point moments though where Samantha drove the affection forward, which I kind of called bullshit on. I was like, she wouldn't just come out with that. Like he'd have to start that probably, and then
But
she would.
God,
Come on,
No,
she
man,
she
but
got-
was telling him to get out of
serve.
bed. Come on,
Yeah.
get up. You could mope around the house instead of
She's
laying
there
in
to
bed.
serve.
No, it was more like, but it was like the stuff when she was the one sort of instigating all the like sexual or I love you stuff. I was like,
what would you
that's
do if you
kind of
could touch me?
bullshit. Like,
You know what I would love to have seen, and
But
this is
I mean,
just
the point is, she's not a computer program that's just responding to what the input. She is a sentient being, and that's
Right,
the
right,
difference
right.
between
We
this
gotta
and
look at
actual
what her
AI.
training set was. You know,
You know
they
what, if I could
scraped
read-
all the pornography in the world.
pretty much.
Yeah.
If I could, if I
no,
could,
no, because if they
Delivery
scraped
boys.
all the pornography in the world, it would be like I'm trapped in a dryer.
Yeah.
Like it's not it.
she'd be like, "Fuck to it,"
well,
and
it'd be
then-
like 2024, but yes. But there's a great film that's very similar.
Later, you can
do very
explain that
simlar
meme to
this.
me, Jared.
Imagine
Just
this
Google
was,
it, you'll be sorry.
imagine this was
maybe
two
I don't
different
know.
storylines. This is her storyline was about a guy falling in love, being affectionate with and having a relationship with his AI. But imagine some MAGA shithead buying the OS and looking for someone to just be an asshole.
Well,
with.
that's the other 7,600 people she didn't fall in love with.
Right.
was-
Maybe. But
like,
I would see that
she
parallel
did.
development.
I believe in the fiction of this story that she actually fell in love with him.
Yeah, me
Yeah.
too.
And that's actually scarier to me. Like it's not scary to me that he fell in love with her. It's scary to
I
me that
believe that.
she fell in love with him. Like it's the frightening thing about this movie is that it's not that you developed feelings for the computer program, it's that the computer program actually developed feelings for you.
Well, then
Because
you're
then when you
contending with
have
it
to
as an
turn
equal,
then when you
No.
have to turn her off,
right?
you are killing the person that loves you.
Yeah.
Right.
Like that's a totally different thing. Like
Yeah.
he actually has the power in this relationship in a way that he does not understand.
Nope.
Well, also,
but
but
there was
touch on
again
it in,
because everything comes
the
back to
second
Star
Blade
Trek. There was
Runner.
a Next Generation episode where some nanobots or something developed sentience, and they had
Yeah,
to figure
yeah.
out what to do with them
Mhm.
because now they are living sentient beings.
Or there's the episode where Moriarty developed
Yes,
sentience
right,
because they
right.
tried to, and they have to put him in the box that
Right.
has the
virtual
generator
world.
in it and put it out to the side and just be like, you can live there forever with your girlfriend. you invented."
open the
Although-
pod bay doors.
also,
Hal.
also the thing is, that
I can't do
what
that,
what
Dave.
Tad said about Samantha developing actual big falling in love with Theodore, it could still be a form of mimicry. We don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it could
That's
still.
right.
I think
why it's
Hal
so
wasn't-
depressing.
hold on.
Yeah.
Scott, I want to say
But then, Jim, doesn't that also lead us to say it's like maybe our brains are convincing us that we're
Exactly.
Yes.
that we
But
are
if
not
you can
only
if you can reduce love to an algorithm that's based on like statistical study of a bunch
it could
of
run on
Yeah,
a carbon
that's what I'm saying.
wetware as
I don't-
well.
I
Yeah.
can't make a decision one way or the other, but it could be real love. Although there's no biology, so what does this mean?
Yeah.
I have actually just this morning wrote
That's
a bunch of
worse.
notes. I wrote a bunch of notes for my buddy Keith, who's got a screenplay about a woman on a spaceship, a relationship with the computer that runs the spaceship. And yes,
Uh-huh.
it's informed by 2001 and
You think?
Dark Star, by the way.
Dark Star.
what's
Ah,
what's the
excellent
what's the
movie.
what's the name of the movie with Jennifer Lawrence and Chris Pratt?
Oh, passengers.
Passengers.
Which I kind of
Yeah.
liked
But
Oh,
I mean,
that
I
was-
was
it's
kind of
immoral,
bringing up
that film.
this kind of same issue
a little bit.
with
Yeah.
him.
Yeah, it's a
Which is- it's
critique
like-
of humanity. I
Is
think.
love because she's divorced or about to be divorced, and the counselor is spewing this line of like, well, love is just a chemical biological reaction, and after that's over, if you want to have a successful marriage, it has to be a partnership. You have to consider that person a friend and an ally.
Mhm.
It's really fucking depressing as
It's
hell.
all politics.
Yes, it's all politics, and it's all just forget love.
The
It doesn't
wagon of
exist.
love breaks under the carriage of life.
Yeah.
Plus,
But love-
the thing
but-
I kept thinking about during watching this was the Star Trek Next Generation episode, "The Measure of Man."
Oh
where
yeah.
basically Data's put on trial to see.
How does he win that? How does he win that
Should we
case?
take them apart?
How does he win that case? He turns him off.
He turns him off. Yeah.
All right. You know what? We should
Technical
probably.
level, music is great. Photography is
The
great.
music actually,
Yep.
no.
No, yeah.
The music fucking sucks in this movie.
No.
Well,
Music is
Neil
amazing.
It's Neil down
Arcade
hipster
Fire,
style.
it fucking
It's
rocks.
Arcade Fire, I was shocked they did it.
And I want to geek out on
Trash.
somebody had a clip or a still
Magic
of him
Hour.
of him installing the OS at the beginning of this film, and I want to
Chris has it.
yeah,
No,
I want
Scott, the attention to detail on the designers, designer
God.
shit.
but also I
designer
want to
shit.
talk about
This took
Spike's
some idiot one afternoon.
direction.
Come on.
I want to geek out about Spike's direction one more second
Sometimes less
because
is more, dude.
because in that scene he installs the OS, he waits for it to come up, he starts talking to Samantha, and all of a sudden Spike crosses the line and starts shooting the scene from the other side.
Yeah.
And it is the moment when he realizes he's beginning a relationship with an entity, and you could see it happen visually.
Oh yeah.
He has entered a new world.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
really good. It's
Oh, yeah,
completely subtle.
There's some weird stuff in like that. At the very beginning of the film,
Did
when
you just huck your cat across the room?
when he
Yeah,
was
he's trying to get my lap.
when he's Theodore's dictating that first letter in the very beginning of the film, he's coming out of the right channel.
Oh,
It's really
really?
weird. It's like I don't know. Then
Oh.
later on you find out why, but it's like that was just it was all it. He's
interesting.
playing with some stuff in post that's really interesting in this film.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. All right. Okay.
it's okay,
Okay.
cats don't
Well,
have
it's,
souls.
I think it's some time, man. Come on, we've been going on for
Oh.
like a half an hour.
For me,
I love this movie.
I fucking love this movie.
I didn't love
fucking
it as
love
much as
that
I love
movie.
it, but I liked it. I liked it.
I
It
like
was
this
pretty
movie
good.
a lot.
All right.
All right.
We're in
Go
beverage.
refill yourselves.